And many industries are still in lockdown. Many of us are exploring the digital options in an attempt to continue with business. Whilst many industries and business leaders are already experiencing the benefits of digitization, a large number of organizations have yet to embark on their digital journey. To remain relevant in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, the time has come for companies to embrace and adopt emerging technologies that will allow them to thrive in the years to come. For some true digital transformation, where do you start? That's the question. But to answer that particular question, we are now joined via Skype by Deirdre Fryer. Deirdre is the head of solutions at SYSPRO. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much indeed for coming through. So what does digital transformation really mean in a business sense?
So when we look at digital transformation in a business sense, what we're really looking at is ways across the organization, across processes, to really try and minimize touch points and get automation working and really to ultimately drive productivity and efficiency for businesses so that we can seamlessly get applications, software, and people working together harmoniously in a digital format and in a digital approach.
And I think it was really interesting to see how a lot of people, even those who are not for digital transformation, really had to adapt during this lockdown. But the question is, how can digital transformation benefit your organization?
So in a number of ways, what we really try and look for from a digitalization perspective is really letting software and technology do a lot of the heavy lifting. Taking away repetitive tasks, administrative tasks, and really just allowing us to get to quick calculations. And all of this really to help people at the end of the day make quicker decisions, be able to see information quickly, and really just be more transparent about our data. And in doing so, what we also then are able to do is very quickly improve our turnaround times and our time to customer really delivery and ultimately improving our customer experience.
But then how can an organization go about building a digital transformation strategy, which I would imagine is very important?
It's a very tough one because I think for a lot of businesses, whilst we as people are potentially digitally aware, our businesses still need to go on what we call a digital journey. So we have to move from being a digital immigrant to a digital native. And the big thing to consider for most businesses is this is not a one-person responsibility. It's not just the IT team. It's an organizational change. And everyone in the business needs to be involved. Everyone in the business needs to want to drive digital. And everyone really needs to make sure that as stakeholders that they're really looking to all different ways to bring a digital transformation across. Businesses that are new or started as digital businesses, for example, like a Netflix, they don't have to go on a digital transformation because they just are so digitally aware. And so for a lot of companies, it's really about bridging that gap and taking their company on a journey of becoming digitally focused.
And you have a lot of IT specialists and people within that industry who are basically saying that the pandemic itself was sort of a blessing in disguise because you had a lot of people in different companies who were really not for technology, but they really, really had to adapt to this online meetings taking place on a daily basis. So we may be ready for the fourth industrial revolution as the country.
Definitely more so than ever. I think the current pandemic has made us more aware of how digitally ready we need to become and has definitely accelerated a lot of projects and a lot of needs for businesses to go on a journey that beforehand they were a little bit reluctant to do. So definitely going to see a lot of focus and drive in this going forward.
There's also no doubt that digital transformation is changing how businesses work. More and more companies are now sort of taking a step back and revisiting everything that they do, from their internal systems that they use on a day-to-day basis with their employees, to how they interact with their customers. So how does digitization impact customer engagements for some companies?
I think by bringing digitization, especially when we look at it from our customer experience, it makes us think of two things. One, it allows businesses to kind of reinvent themselves. So a lot of people are looking at the way they do things and the way they've traditionally done things and really using digital projects to refocus and shift the way they do that. But I think with customers as well, what it really allows us to do is it allows us to collaborate more with them. So through the use of mobile apps and digital tools and digitalization, what we are able to do is become more engaged with that and therefore collaborate with them more. And even digitally, everyone loves to be engaged with and everyone loves to communicate. So it really does help to our customer and make our businesses more accessible as well.
All right, Deirdre, we'll leave it at that. We thank you so much for talking to us here on the SABC News Channel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. Deirdre Fryer is the head of solutions at SYSPRO, talking to us about the digitization, of course, and how we can remain relevant in the era of the fourth industrial revolution.